7 harvests a year. No synthetic fertilizer, no irrigation infrastructure, no depletion of the soil. One agricultural system produced all of this continuously for centuries. Most people have never heard of it. In the 14th century, the Aztecs built a city of 200,000 people on a lake and fed everyone in it. A canoe moves through green water at dawn. On either side, narrow strips of land dense with crops, maize, flowers, herbs, so close the canoe barely fits between them. This is Xochimilco, on the southern edge of Mexico City. The Aztecs built this over 700 years ago. It still works. The Aztecs arrived in the Valley of Mexico as outsiders. Every fertile shoreline was already claimed. What they had was water, shallow lake beds, swamp, terrain no one else wanted. So they built land. Starting in the 12th century and accelerating through the 14th, they drove wooden stakes into shallow lake beds, wove reed fences between them, and filled the enclosures with lake mud, aquatic vegetation, and decomposed organic matter dredged from the bottom. Each plot roughly 30 feet wide and up to 300 feet long. Willow trees planted at the corners. Their dense root systems anchored the structure and prevented erosion. Between each plot, a canal just wide enough for a canoe. They did this 20,000 times. The system eventually covered 22,000 acres. The uniformity of size and orientation, confirmed by aerial surveys, shows state-level planning, organized labor, and engineering precision. This wasn't improvised, it was designed. But the structure was only half of it. What happened inside the system is what made it extraordinary. Chinampas didn't just grow food, they generated their own fertility continuously without external inputs. The canals between plots acted as a permanent irrigation system. Roots drew moisture upward through the soil by capillary action, independent of rainfall. Farmers regularly dredged nutrient-rich sediment from the canal floor and layered it back onto the plots. A self-renewing fertilization cycle. Human waste collected by canoe from the Aztec capital at the center of the lake was returned to the soil. Nothing left the system. 7 harvests a year. Maize, beans, squash, tomatoes, chili peppers, amaranth, and flowers for religious festivals. Grown in rotating cycles on the same plots, year after year, without depleting the soil. Where modern industrial agriculture mines the earth, chinampas fed it. The canals also created a microclimate. Water stores heat overnight and releases it slowly. That protected crops from the frost that regularly hits the Valley of Mexico at altitude. The Aztecs had built passive thermal regulation into the landscape. A 200,000-person city fed almost entirely from floating gardens. No erosion, no chemical runoff, no soil depletion. The UN designated the Chinampa system a globally important agricultural heritage system in 2018, 700 years after it was built. It took modern agriculture that long to catch up. By then, the system itself was almost gone. In 1519, a Spanish conquistador named Hernán Cortés led an invasion of the Aztec Empire. He recognized that the Chinampas were the engine of Aztec civilization. He ordered them destroyed. The Aztecs were forced to dismantle what they had built. The lakes were drained, the canals were filled. The Valley of Mexico, once a living system of interconnected water and land, was buried under a colonial city, then a modern one. Mexico City now sits on top of what was once a lake. It is sinking, up to 50 centimeters a year in some areas. Beneath it, where the lake used to be, the drained sediment is slowly compressing under the weight of everything built on top of it. Of the 20,922 Chinampa plots that survived into the modern era, only 17% are still being farmed. The rest are soccer fields, party rooms, abandoned land. The farmers who remained were aging. The knowledge was leaving with them. In the canals of Xochimilco lives a creature that exists nowhere else on Earth. It is a salamander, small and dark brown, with feathery external gills that fan out from its head like a crown. The pink version most people recognize from the internet is a captive-bred anomaly. Wild axolotls are brown. The creature the world fell in love with barely exists in the place it came from. It is called the axolotl. The Aztecs named it after their god of fire and lightning, who, according to legend, disguised himself as this creature to avoid being sacrificed and was condemned to live forever in the depths of the lake. The Aztecs lived alongside it for centuries. It was part of their diet, their mythology, their world. It has a biological ability that scientists are still trying to understand. The axolotl can regenerate, not just limbs, its heart, its spinal cord, parts of its brain, all without scarring. Researchers around the world study it as a model for tissue regeneration in human medicine. The most scientifically significant amphibian on the planet lives in a lake that is disappearing. It can only survive in clean, slow-moving freshwater, the kind that healthy chinampas maintain. In 1998, there were 6,000 axolotls per square kilometre in Xochimilco. By 2008, there were 100. By 2017, there were 35. A 4-month search in 2013 found none at all. 1 month later, 2 were spotted in a canal. The axolotl is not just an animal in trouble. It is a living measure of how much of the chinampa system remains. The people trying to change those numbers are still out there. One of them is a man named Basilio Rodriguez. In September 2023, he is working his chinampa in Xochimilco. It is his day off. He comes anyway. His plot, reachable only by canoe, is dense with lettuce, mint, parsley, radishes, pumpkins, chamomile, and Aztec marigolds. In October, he sleeps on the chinampa to cut flowers for Day of the Dead. He is not alone. Scientists from Mexico's National University have spent years reconditioning the canals, installing natural water filters, excluding the invasive fish species that have decimated the axolotl population, and working directly with the remaining farmers to revive traditional practices. The goal is not to create a museum, it is to rebuild a functioning food system inside one of the most densely populated cities on Earth. Some chinampa sites have already been restored to full production. Restaurants in Mexico City now source ingredients directly from the floating gardens. Food grown in the same canals using the same methods that fed the Aztec capital 7 centuries ago. The farmers who never left are training the ones coming back. It is slow work. Of the 20,922 plots that remain, most are still abandoned, but the ones being farmed are producing. Then there is the axolotl, a small pale salamander with feathery external gills that make it look like something from another world. It is critically endangered and found only in the canals of Xochimilco. Nowhere else on Earth. It can only survive in the clean, slow-moving water that healthy chinampas maintain. The fate of the system and the fate of this creature are the same thread. Mexico City is a megalopolis of 22 million people. Chronic food insecurity, soil that can no longer support conventional agriculture, a city literally sinking into the ghost of its lake. Governments and corporations spend billions searching for sustainable food systems. The Aztecs built one in the 14th century. The Spanish conquest destroyed it in the 16th. The farmers in Xochimilco are not preserving the past. They are recovering something that should never have been lost.